We are back with another mock draft. This time picking from pick 3. This is a 12-team PPR, but I would generally draft a half PPR the same way. So we'll kick things off. I will talk through every pick I make. Pretty much if I think it, I'm saying it out loud. So here, at the top 3 picks, I would have gone Ja'Marr Chase, Justin Jefferson, Bijan, Gibbs. So because we're here, I'm going to go with Justin Jefferson. I'm not super worried about the injury that he has. I don't really worry about any quarterback that he has. I could easily go CeeDee Lamb. I could go Jahmyr Gibbs there. I could go Bijan and be equally happy. On the turn, I'm looking at possibly... Brock Bowers doesn't really fall there. That's about where I want him. On the 2-3, I'm not considering a quarterback here. Not even Lamar. There's just too many good quarterbacks late that can all break out. So here I would consider Ladd. I'm not thinking about Tyreek Hill. I just don't want an old receiver who has started to show signs of slowing down. I like Trey McBride probably the most here. I've got a receiver. I think I'm going to end up going Trey McBride. I like Bowers and McBride like almost back to back. I know there's a gap in ADP with them. But if you look at Trey McBride, 147 targets, 111 receptions, only 2 touchdowns. Brock Bowers, I don't know that Brock Bowers is going to repeat his target and receptions, but 111 receptions, probably more yardage. I didn't check, but 5 touchdowns. Let's look. 1194 versus 1146. Like, I don't really worry about that. I'm expecting the production of Trey McBride to be very similar to Brock Bowers. I just don't know that the Raiders are going to do the same thing they did last year. So if I can get this same type of guy, I'm heavily considering it here. And I'm probably just going to draft him because at the turn, I'd be happy with Ladd. I'd be happy with JSN. I'd be happy with Kyren. I would be happy with Chase Brown. And there's not another Trey McBride. So I'm going to draft him. There goes Jonathan Taylor. There's Tyreek Hill. Quarterbacks are coming off the board. We're at JSN. Here, I'm happy to go Ladd. Really good option, although there's some good breakout candidates for receivers later. So like if I scroll down, I'm choosing here between Kyren, Chase Brown, or Ladd. But if I come back to my next picks, I'm hoping to grab someone like DK Metcalf, who I like. DJ Moore could be there. Maybe Hampton falls, although it's unlikely. I like Devontae Adams there. If Kamara fell, that would be great. I like Ken Walker at that spot. So if I like Ken Walker there, and I'm shooting for him to fall, do I like Ken Walker's upside more than DK Metcalf and DJ Moore? Yeah. Do I like it more than Kyren? I'm probably going to go Kyren here. I want the running back. I like the wide receiver options that there's plenty of wide receiver options that went there. I'm equally happy to take Chase Brown here. In my rankings, I've got them back to back. So Brown, then Kyren is what I have written down, but I like them both. So I'm going to click Chase Brown. If you took Kyren there, totally fine. Same option for me. I feel really good about both of them. Ladd at the 305 is pretty good. Quarterback's going in the 4th. Kamara, Hampton is gone. Kittle's gone. Those are the tight ends that I really want to be targeting. So here, same kind of mindset. I'm looking at the turn. Now in a real draft, this guy has 2 running backs, so he's probably going receiver. And this guy's probably going running back for at least one of those picks. That's what I would be thinking in a real draft. So I'm probably thinking about one of these. This guy's probably taking running back with one of these picks. And of the options here, I like Ken Walker a lot more than Chuba Hubbard and James Conner. I like DK Metcalf and DJ Moore basically the same. I'm hoping that one of Metcalf and Moore fall to me at the 503, and I'm going to take Conner and see what happens. If I have to, I'll go with Xavier Worthy. So I'm really happy with 3 receivers there, but I would be unhappy with Chuba in the 5th or James Conner in the 5th. So I'm going to go with Ken Walker, and we'll see which receiver we get. So there goes Metcalf, there goes Moore, Connor, Hubbard. It's possible someone could have taken Xavier Worthy as the other option that I hoped got back to me. One of these guys could have also taken Hawkinson or Laporta. So I feel like it was a safe bet to make. I'm not really considering Patrick Mahomes here. I'm definitely not considering Zay Flowers or Courtland Sutton. I like Xavier Worthy over those guys. Like here, Courtland Sutton has had a nice career, but he could easily go back to like 135 targets is quite a bit. That's a difference in his career. He could easily go back to just being like wide receiver 19. And that's not that special week to week. Zay Flowers, he's been wide receiver 25 and 31. He's an option here. I'm shooting for the upside though. Got 2 solid running backs, a great receiver. I'm going to shoot for the upside on Xavier Worthy that he could be excellent. If I didn't go Worthy there, I probably would have gone Flowers over Sutton. I don't love betting on the second year of a late career breakout for a wide receiver. Like if I'm going to draft Courtland Sutton in the 5th, why don't I just wait and get Jacoby Myers, another old receiver, in the 7th or 8th? So here a receiver, I don't feel safe about my second guy. Like I wish that Jerry Jeudy or Calvin Ridley, like that I felt better about them. I might be leaning towards Jordan Addison and just eat the suspension. I like Caleb Johnson in the 7th, early 7th. That could fall to us. Roma Dunze could fall there on the turn. Do I go Olave here? This is the range that I like Olave in. I mean, he had a rough year last year, but 16 and 25, and I think he could bounce right back to be wide receiver 18, wide receiver 20 with no issue, with pretty high upside. Like Chris Olave is only 25. He was drafted in the top 10 or 11 of the NFL draft. He's definitely first round. Was he taking pick 12? Something around that range. Don't quote me on the exact number. I'm not really considering DeAndre Swift here. I'm lightly considering Jerry Jeudy. But man, this many, many years of not being excellent does concern me. 145 targets last year on the Browns. It happened in the back half of the season. If I'm going with a risky option, I'm going to go with Chris Olave, that I know they want to be the top receiver there. Both teams are going to be kind of rough offenses. This is just the pick I'm more comfortable with. If you're comfortable with Jerry Jeudy, go for it in this spot. I'm looking at Olave here, and then if it's Pollard, if it's Johnson, I'll be pretty happy. If I have Olave, I can probably play come up with something at receiver or flex to handle Jordan Addison. But he's just pretty good to be wide receiver 21 or 20. Here he was wide receiver 21 with 2 games missed. So I would put him in that 20 to 24 range for this year. Other options at the turn would be Roma Dunze on the breakout, Jacoby Myers for a safe option week in and week out. Like Jacoby Myers last year, 19, 24, 28, 30. Can he put up the same numbers that Courtland Sutton did last year? Yeah, and you get him a full round after. So Jacoby Myers could be a good safe option for me if I'm worried about Worthy and Olave. So I'm feeling that. I'm not really thinking about Judkins or Bo Nix here. Why am I not thinking Bo Nix? I just like the late round guys this year a lot. Like Justin Fields, Drake May. Those are all guys that I'll be targeting. Dak Prescott. Those guys are all going in the double-digit rounds and are probably very good chances to be top 12 quarterbacks. It's hard to find that much of a value rise at these other positions. Here Swift goes. Swift, if you hadn't taken a running back and you just wanted to run pretty light with running backs and have a safe RB2, there's Swift. He's an RB2. Okay, pick options here. I don't love the safety that I have with Worthy and Olave for sure. I don't feel super confident about them, but I like their upside play. Do I go with Caleb Johnson as a rookie breakout? I think what I'm going to do here is go Caleb Johnson and hope to be getting, if I have to go Kyler Murray at quarterback and Golden on the next turn, or Kyler and Pearsall, I would be pretty happy with that. Or if I'm getting Golden, Pearsall, and Justin Herbert on my next two picks. So at this spot, I'm going to lock up the last great running back breakout candidate. Like Pollard is a good safe running back, third option. He could be a safe flex. But I'm going to shoot higher and go Caleb here. And then if Caleb breaks out and is great, I've got solid trade equity up here. Or if Ken Walker misses time and Caleb breaks out, I feel all right about that. With Ken Walker, I could have also gone with Tony Pollard there, who is probably going to be pretty good with the injury to Spears right now. So here we don't get Kyler Murray. At this spot, some people like Stephon Diggs. I don't particularly love him as a late career coming off an injury, like bounce back candidate. It doesn't bother me that other people do. I think I might be wrong about him, but I'm going to shoot for Golden. Jayden Reed is currently in a walking boot. They're talking about he might not be ready to go for week 1. Then their offense is Golden, Dobbs, and Dontavian Wicks at receiver. I know teams don't love starting a rookie right away, so they might be starting Wicks and Dobbs, but I think Golden can beat those guys out sooner rather than later, so I'm going to go with that. And here I might go, I like Pearsall here. I was about to say I would take Ibuka here, but he's gone. I would consider, Ibuka at the 903 just as much as I would consider Pearsall, who I think people are just kind of sleeping on. Juwan Jennings is hurt. Brandon Ayuk is hurt. Juwan Jennings, for people who maybe don't totally know with what happened with San Francisco last year, like Juwan Jennings is 28. He's not a young player who just happened to break out in San Francisco. He's been there a while, and they are happy to use other guys over him. Debo, Ayuk. They signed Ayuk to a long-term deal rather than rely on Juwan Jennings to be the lead guy. He was great last year. I'm willing to let him have been great and say, thank you. I'm on to someone else. I'm on to Ricky Pearsall. I think people are sleeping on it. Like, Juwan Jennings, the short version of what I'm saying is Juwan Jennings is not an amazing talent. He came on later in the year after Ayuk got hurt and finished as wide receiver 24. So give me Ricky Pearsall to finish as a top 20 guy. He's a first-round NFL draft pick. I don't really look too heavily at his stats last year, where he was shot in the chest. Like, it's hard to bounce back from that. So I'm going to start looking to grab a quarterback here. Start heavily plotting out. I had been planning for Herbert. I kind of just went for the big upside. I think what I'm going to do, I haven't done a lot of Caleb Williams drafting, but this is a great spot for him. He's going after Jared Goff. We're hoping that Caleb Williams is a better talent than Jared Goff on probably not a better offense than what the Lions had, but head coach for the Bears came from the Lions, helped make that offense what it was. They've revamped the O-line. I'm hoping that the coaching there is a big difference maker. I like taking Caleb here compared to Ramondre Stevenson, Michael Pittman, Kyle Pitts' late career breakout. I think I'm going to go Caleb Williams, and then possibly just go for Drake May or Justin Fields on the turn and have a great option with a possible big breakout. Like Jared Goff last year was quarterback 6, 7, 10. If we get QB 6 numbers from Caleb, who was a first overall pick, I'm not betting on it, but I'll use a 10th round pick. I'll use a late 10th to see what happens. That if the breakout starts happening, I want it to be from me. Here we've got Chase Brown, Ken Walker, Caleb Johnson. I'm looking at running back options here. None of them are amazing. And what I'll say is, like, I don't worry a ton about that because I just need one of Worthy, Olave, Golden, Pearsall, maybe 2 of them to be pretty good breakouts, and then we're trading. They're either performing so well that we could trade Jefferson, or they're performing so well that we could trade one of them for a running back. So even though I only have 3, I don't feel like I have to get one because we're shooting for massive upside. In this spot, I'm probably going to look at, I would have considered Javonte Williams, Jordan Mason. Those guys are gone. Ramondre Stevenson wouldn't have been that bad. Let's just look at other running backs that could be in big roles. Let's go with like the running backs that I'm going to be targeting with these later picks. It's like Bashal Tutin, Dylan Sampson. We don't know what their roles there are. So those are 2 guys I like. I'll probably just add them into my queue. Braylon Allen, who could be moving into a committee role in New York, very similar to what the Lions have done with Gibbs and Montgomery, what the Lions did with Swift and Jamal Williams. It comes from Sean Payton, that coaching tree, where with the Saints, it was Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara, or some other combination. I think that's going to be very similar in Denver this year with, let's see if he got drafted, J.K. Dobbins. Yeah, Dobbins and R.J. Harvey. So if they're doing that in New York with Braylon Allen, I'll take a shot on that late. Receivers, I'm going to look at Trey Harris, Luther Burden, or Keon Coleman. I'm going to go with Keon Coleman here and just hope that he develops into a solid flex. He wasn't quite at that yesterday, but I'm hoping that he's hit that today. Or no, he's hit that this year. Second year, somewhat breakout. I don't think I'm drafting him to become a stud. I'm drafting him to become wide receiver 30, a safe flex. And then here, let's look at some running backs. Let's just go to all and get an idea of who is roughly available. Tajay Spears is injured right now. Nick Chubb, I'm not really believing. Rachaad White probably has value in a deeper league. In a deeper league, he should go here. But in round 12, I'm hoping like he's going to give me around round 12 value. I don't see a ton of upside there. Here, I'm actually just going to take the shot on Zach Ertz. If you don't recall, Zach Ertz was tight end 7 last year. Not that much is changing for the commies. He could still be in a pretty big role. And what we're looking for is if we get tight end 7 here in the 12th round, that does free us up to move Trey McBride to keep our team flexible, keep our team liquid, like make other moves. If we have to make a move, we could sell Trey McBride and roll with Ertz. That's my thought at that pick. And then here, Caleb Williams, I'm going to snag Justin Fields. We could have gone Justin in the 12th. These guys just fall. Drake May in the 13th, with his rushing floor, he could be an amazing pick. Think what Jaden Daniels did last year. I don't know if you recall, like Jaden Daniels was a 12th, 13th round pick in leagues like this. That's league winning stuff. So that's why I'm waiting on these late picks. Justin Fields, through his 6 starts last year, was, I think, QB7, QB8. And you get that in the 13th round. And that repeats. It's a rushing quarterback. That stuff stays sticky. He doesn't have to be an amazing passer. to perform like that. I'm just going to take my kicker and defense, but know your league. You might not need to draft a kicker or a defense. And here I'm not making any thought about these. There we go. I just want the draft to finish so that it goes into my completed section in mock drafts. If your league, does not enforce that you take a kicker and a defense, don't. Like, take a flyer on Kyle Williams, take a flyer on Dante Thornton, Dylan Sampson, Trey Benson. These are all guys that could step into larger roles this year that are very cheap to draft, like Bashal Tutin. They're the type of guy that you could draft extra late, and if it doesn't work out after week 1 or week 2, that's someone you're dropping for your waiver pickups. The reason behind you don't need to draft a kicker or a defense is you can make a 2-for-1 trade or a 3-for-1 trade and free up that spot. So if you draft Keon Coleman and then we drafted Benson and Sampson here, and then we trade Coleman and Caleb Johnson to get up to Chuba Hubbard range, like that's real stuff that can happen. That's what we're looking to do when we're drafting with these things. Everything is just an asset that you can trade, but you can't really trade a kicker or a defense. So if you don't need to draft one, draft flyer players and then trade some of your other assets and then pick up a kicker or a defense before week 1. All right, thanks for checking it out. If you want to see a mock draft from another pick and it doesn't exist yet on the page, comment and let me know, or hit subscribe. Thank you very much.